1.2 of the Shiawassee County zoning ordinance by changing the zoning designation of property located in section 10 of Perry Township from A2 agricultural production rural residential to M1 light industrial.
I'll make that motion. Support.
Motion and support. Do we have further discussion here?
Mr. Chairman, Justin might like to give us some information.
That's why I'm here today. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. I'll be very, very brief. We had a nice long discussion at the County Planning Commission meeting last week. John, you were there. Elsesser Auto Fab is expanding in Perry Township. They've been a longtime member of the Township Industrial Park on Bennett Drive. I don't know how long they've been there, John. Do you know?
7, 8, 9 years anyway.
Okay. Nice little business. Does a fair amount of residential, but also a significant amount of commercial work, trucks, vehicles. Does some fabrication work, welding, things of that nature. Does some hot rod type stuff. He's outgrown the existing facility, so he is going to be building a brand new facility along Lansing Road to the east of the Family Dollar. So they own about 9 or 10 acres. It goes between Lansing Road and Interstate 69, and we'll be constructing a new facility there, about 15,000 square feet. And this property had been zoned, I think it was, what was it? A2, because it had been owned by a church. And that's who they bought the property from a number of years ago. So while we're very excited about this, obviously it's great to see businesses expanding, new construction, new facilities going up. This supports our efforts to increase infrastructure along the Lansing Road corridor. This particular building will actually end up being served by the same water line that will help grow the Transfleet trucking facility project, which we've been in front of you before for that. So the goal will actually be now with this project coming online to be able to put that pipe in at the same time so it'll serve both businesses. And what's really nice, and we've talked about this before as well, this whole area has been designated as a growth development area through the I-69 International Trade Corridor. So we're going to be able to utilize the property taxes captured from this development to be able to pay for that infrastructure, which then will not have to come back on the citizens of Perry or Perry Township. So really, really exciting. It's great to see more business coming and expanding, new building, but this particular opportunity with the I-69 trade corridor for infrastructure is very beneficial. So we're definitely in support of the request. From a timing perspective, they will hopefully have their site plan done very soon. In fact, Pete, I think they've already distributed material to you. They're using a local contractor, Lemon Construction, to build the facility, which is great. They're based right there in the township. They want to hopefully start, break ground, hopefully sometime in March. You know, depending on how the weather goes, it could be sooner if it stays like this. But they want to do that and then hopefully be done sometime over the summertime. So, here, you got a question.
Have they started the water line yet? What's the project coming at?
Not yet. So it's been a long process, as we know. The building is going up. For those of you who have been down there lately, the warehouse portion of the trucking facility is just about done. The office portion, which would be on the east side of the building, will not actually probably start until the springtime. It's been a long construction process to get there, but they will have the warehouse, and that will be used for truck repair, truck maintenance, warehousing, cross-docking. That should be done here no later than January. They're going to use that facility over the winter. The offices will stay at the building they have on Britton Road, so I mean basically the south of where the new building is. And then they'll build the offices this summer and then move everything in at that time. So it's been a process, but we're getting there.
Any further questions for Justin? And we also have Peter in the room here. If you have any other questions too. Hearing none, we'll move this on to the committee of the whole. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is community development number reports. Peter Preston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, as things have slowed down a little bit, the weather hasn't given us too much of a break. We have 23 zoning permits 20 building permits and 40 enforcement actions in the month of November. That would have been a busy month about 2 years ago. I've also passed out for you where we are at with building department receiving of revenue for building permits. We are approximately 39% over what our revenues were last year at this time. About 15% off of our high mark in 2008, 15% more. So if we stop receiving revenue for building permits at this point, we would be 30% greater in revenue than we were last year. So the building department has been extremely busy. Planning and zoning, as you know, have taken on some sticky issues over the past year. So we're hoping for about 3 feet of snow, things to slow down a little bit, and for us to regroup as we get ready for next year, which everything indicates that we'll still see an upward trend. Yes, sir.
They just put a new furnace in my house today, and it cost $150 for the permit. Got extra money, maybe I can get some of it back.
This is to fund our infrastructure. in the department. But I thank you for getting the permit. I have not been paying permits lately, and of course some of those have been running some administrative fees on. Answer any questions? I think we're good.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to some discussion items we have on the agenda. Appointments to the following boards and committees: the GLS Region 5 Planning and Development Commission. Beginning there, you all have the information on package for this committee. For the most part, we're at that first item, we're looking to respond to the opening there, leave it for a spot in the end of that, at the end of December 31st, the commission will expire. As you know, Sid Grinnell was in a car accident and is still recovering, and I think that will be a pretty extensive recovery for him. I'm assuming it was probably wise for us to move forward with filling that spot on the GLS 5, but I don't know if we have the authority to do that here. Would we do that now before the end of the expiration?
Well, what we're looking at here is you have three individuals who have terms expiring December 31st of this year. So what you're looking to do is you're looking to appoint individuals or reappoint individuals to a new term, which would begin January 1st.
And what we have in the packet is
You have a letter from Sid Grinnell and Robert McLaren stating that they are interested in being reappointed. We did not receive any communication from Julie Hill Smith, and you have a letter from Matthew Shepard, who is interested in.
I think, that isn't Sid Grinnell and Bob McCarron, they're one-year appointments, is that correct?
Yes, they're all one year.
Yeah, they're all one-year appointments, so that's done every year, just like it'll be a 3 or 5 year or whatever, it's every year.
well, is it the, what is that, as a committee, what is our particular assignment here?
What you're looking to do is make appointments for the new terms.
So we need new names as far as that goes. We have three, I mean, we've got, I think we have responses, first of all, a response from a current member who would be interested in being reassigned to the job. That would be Bob McLaren, is that correct? And Sid Grinnell. I'm not seeing the letter from Sid Grinnell, which is throwing me a little bit. Okay, I guess I'm seeing one to Sid
Yep, and he sent it back with his signature on the bottom,
Now I see it.
stating
I
that
didn't understand
he
that.
was interested.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
since we talked on Friday, Sid is doing a lot better. He's coming along a lot better.
Okay,
His therapy's going real well. He's had a bad car accident.
okay,
A lot of broken ribs, but he owes you back and get supervised and everything, hopefully in jail.
okay,
So
okay.
that's what he's hoping. Yeah, so just,
Okay, I didn't fully understand understand the beginning of that, but I sent you that letter. Okay. So we got that covered, but we haven't heard back yet from Julie, is that correct?
There was no response from Julie this time.
So we have 3 interested and 3 open positions, correct?
That's correct. So do we entertain a motion here to, I guess we entertain a motion here?
I would make a motion at this time that we give Sid Grinnell and Robert McLaren another 1-year appointment, maybe solicit a little bit more to find someone to fill that 3rd position.
I would like to find out, for sure, if Julie, when were these notifications given, if you don't mind my asking?
They were mailed out on November 2nd.
And is it just one notification, or is it possible for us to move along from here without, assigning all 3 positions and make sure that we have another notification sent out to Julie and also solicit other applications?
What the process is November 2nd, a letter was sent to all the individuals who had expiring terms at the end of the year, asking them to respond. The date was the end of November at some point. And there was also advertisements placed in the Argus Press and the Independent for all boards who had vacancies or upcoming vacancies, to ask the members of the public to respond as well.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we put Matthew Smith, or Shepherd on.
We currently have a motion that was made by Commissioner Burt, but at this time has not been seconded. It was for Sid Grinnell and Robert McLaren.
I will second that motion. That would essentially like to be sure that there really has been contact. Now, if we move this, as we move this along, this will come up again at the committee of the whole. Well, we have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion here? I'm not inclined to just put somebody on a board just out of out of the blue because we have an empty spot, without really being assured that there's a the response wasn't just overlook them. Again, I realize it's fair, but I'm just not jumping at that opportunity here. She can be notified. If she can be notified, I'd prefer that we try to handle that, perhaps by Wednesday. See what we come about, if that's okay. But we'll put this to a vote as it is, so move this along. Any further discussion? Hearing none, to move this along to Wednesday's meeting, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same?
Nay. I'd like to make a motion to put Matthew Stewart on, or Shepherd on as the other, since we already have somebody that.
Is there a second to the motion? Hearing none, that motion does not carry.
Chairman, you need to try to get a hold of Julie A. Smith and find out what her position is, and then we can rediscuss this at committee of the whole, and I think we should just be moving forward.
Okay, on to the next session, Housing Program Advisory Council. Could you point to those,
Yep. You currently have a vacancy on that board, and you also have Gene Paz. His term is expiring at the end of this year. Mr. Paz has submitted a letter of interest and would like to be reappointed. And we have also received a letter from Jim Woodward, who is interested in an appointment.
So our spots that are available. Oh, fill me in once again.
I'd make a motion that we reappoint Gene Paz to the Housing Program Advisory Council.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move along, back along. Vote, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Vote the same. That motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, on that Housing Program Advisory Council, there is a vacancy. Sally Sue Gale used to, we have not. I think you have to have certain people from certain areas of expertise. And I can't remember what Sally Sue Gale filled. I mean, we do have another person that might be interested, but I'm not sure if he can fill that position with his working capacity, I'm not sure. But that would be something we should look into. Because on that housing on our sheet here, it says vacant. It used to say Sally Sue Gale.
I appreciate that, John.
Yeah. I don't know if you can, I know that there's statutory, you've got to fill certain areas with certain.
Might be a question Pete might be able to help you with.
If you give me a little time. I'm sitting here running through what positions are on there, what they need to fill, and I can help you with that.
Okay, so I can't.
I can,
I-
I'll have that for your Wednesday meeting.
Okay.
So Woodward's probably fairly qualified, so
You might have to be a citizen representative, or I'm not sure. Or somebody from a planning, from the municipality or the village or whatever.
Okay, on the next item, we did vote on it. On the next item is the Parks and Recreation Commission. So actually, we have no applicants. We have spots to fill them.
Joe DeCare's term expired at the end of last year. He has continued to serve, but he hasn't submitted, anything formal that he's being interested in being appointed. Nancy Zajunik, her term expires at the end of this year. She did notify me that she is not interested in moving.
I too talked to Joe DeCare, and I think we just gotta get the paperwork around, have him submit something, he'll do it. And Nancy Zajunik said because of going away, winters and stuff like that she's not interested. I also did talk to a gentleman that works for Waste Management, Cody Baker. I talked to him today, and he hasn't sent any paperwork or anything, because I just talked to him today, but he would be interested in filling that position as a citizen at large.
Are we still on the planning commission and not Parks and Rec?
It's Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Or in Parks and Rec.
Okay, so we do have somebody that has not yet submitted a
Letter, but
and
he's interested in filling Nancy's spot.
okay, so it's a matter of getting the paperwork around, you say?
Do we have to have paperwork, or can we submit without paperwork?
You don't necessarily have to have paperwork, as long as he's interested.
You want to put his name forward?
I would make a motion that we put Cody Baker as a citizen at large on the Parks and Recreation Commission. He's also on solid waste. I think he's up for reappointment on that. He's a younger gentleman that lives out in Bennington Township and works for Waste Management, and has helped Larry and the Solid Waste Committee a little bit. And he's new to the area, but he's helped secure the money through Waste Management, and he's trying to help the county out.
I know him, he's been quite helpful,
Very good.
very interesting.
So at present, we're filling one of the positions.
We need to figure out what Joe
Mr.
Carey's
Carey,
gonna do.
to move this forward, is that correct?
I made a motion to move Cody Baker forward, and we have to still find out what Joe Carey's doing and move it to Wednesday.
I'll second that motion then. Any further discussion? Move that forward with a vote. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. On to planning commission.
For the planning commission, Robert Etmeyer, his term is expiring at the end of this year, and he is interested in being reappointed. William Thalen, we did not receive a letter from him, but Pete Preston spoke with him, and he is indeed interested in being reappointed. We have also received a letter from Paul Brake, who is interested in an appointment, but he did have a conversation with Pete Preston, and he said that he would also be willing to serve on the zoning board of appeals, which it looks like we currently are going to have a vacancy there.
I would make a motion that we reappoint Robert Edenmeyer and William Thalen to the planning commission.
I'll second that.
I think Bill's serving as chairman.
Yes.
Bill is serving as chairman on that committee.
Any further discussion on that item? Move that forward with a vote, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That motion carries. Sanitary Board of Appeals.
We currently have a vacancy on that board, and we have received a letter from Matthew Shepard, who is interested in an appointment. It is to fill a general public position.
I would make a motion that we put Matthew Shepard on the sanitary board of appeals. Support.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion? Move that ahead with a vote. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The motion carries. The Solid Waste Management.
There's a lot going on with this committee. Dean Thatcher, his term is expiring at the end of this year, and we did not receive a response from him. Joe DeCare and Gary Bendel, their terms are also expiring, and we did not receive responses, as well as Gary Berg, no response. But we did receive a response from Dennis Bray, Timothy Geisky, and Cody Baker that they are interested in reappointment. And we did receive a letter from Matthew Shepard, who was interested in the appointment.
I would make a motion that we reappoint Dennis Bray. I don't see at this time how Matthew Shepard would fall into any of the categories that would allow him to be on that committee. So I cannot move his name forward, but at this point I would move Dennis Bray.
What about Cody Baker?
That's Dean Baker.
Is he not already on there?
Timothy Geisky and Cody Baker are both.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Cody Baker. I apologize, I missed that. Cody, and I did speak with Cody Baker, as I just recently mentioned, and he does want to be back on it. So I'd like to amend my motion for Dennis Bray, actually Timothy Geisky and Cody Baker, the three to be on that committee. Excuse me.
We are filling, and we need to fill how many positions on
Yeah, Timothy Geisky is presently a member. That'll be from 13 through 15. Just like Cody Baker is presently a member of 13 to 15. And Dennis Grade's currently a member. He served from 14 through 15. Or, excuse me, 13.
That leaves several openings, but the only open person we have is Matthew Shepard. He does not fit the criteria to be put on it, to be put there, so. So I would move them 3 names forward.
Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, we move that forward to the vote, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. And the zoning board of appeals.
For the zoning board of appeals, Ann Gamble Hall has submitted a letter that she's interested in reappointment for term ends at the end of this year. Fred Younger, his term also expires at the end of this year, and he notified us that he's not interested in reappointment. But Mr. Preston did speak with Paul Brake, and Paul Brake is interested in appointment to the zoning board of appeals.
Julie just stated Paul Brake's interested, but I don't know that he would fit the criteria. Fred Younger, who is not interested, is Woodhull Township. Is
That's
he?
just where he resides.
That's just where he resides. Okay.
Mr. Preston did have a conversation with Paul Brake today. He might be able to answer a few questions for you.
Mr. Briggs has an extensive background in public administration. He has been a city manager of Grand Line, currently works in the private industry with building and planning and zoning related codes and such with a private company. Primarily at companies out of southeast Michigan and the western part of the state, but he is a resident, I understand, of Southern Township. But he is interested, he's more interested in the planning commission. I told him at this point that I think the only opening really is on the zoning board of appeals, that we also have a need for that there with that kind of background.
I appreciate that. I'm familiar with him as well.
I would make a motion that we move Ann Gamble Hall, reappoint her, and appoint Paul Drake to fill Fred Younger's position.
Second that motion. Any further discussion? Move that ahead with a vote. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Are there any other agenda items? Now we move on to the second call. Excuse me.
I would just make a mention of the airport board. That was Mr. Russell last Saturday. He will be retiring both from the airport board as well as GM in the coming months. And he will stay on an interim role until we find somebody to replace him. He's done a wonderful job.
Thank you. Any other agenda items? We're going to move on to the call to the public. Yes?
Mike Thornburg, Assistant Fire Chief of the Wausau Township Fire Department. Thanksgiving Day, we had an incident with an oil spill out here on Wilkinson Road. I'd like to thank Commissioner Bartz, Commissioner Palman, the Drain Commissioner, Newman, the Health Department, Mr. Johnson, and Emergency Management, Rich Warner, and the Sheriff's Department. They're all extremely helpful. They all left their families and stuff to come out and help us, and we really appreciate it. If there's any questions about the incident, just get a hold of me then.
Certainly. You know, I'm glad to all those people you mentioned and to yourself.
Okay.
And you're fine people.
Thank you.
I'd like to point out too, it was pretty cold that day too. Yes. I'd like to say they were a tough one, so I commend them, yes. I found Jeff's truck as quick as I could.
Very good.
Yes.
Justin?
Well, Well, while we're in a thankful mood today, I want to express my appreciation to Pete and his team, the Board of Commissioners and the Planning Commission, for how quickly you moved along this process for Mr. Alcesser. From the start until now, it's been less than a month to get through all the different meetings through the township, through the county. And normally I know, Pete, it doesn't line up quite that quickly, but it really sends a very strong message. It did to this client that, you know, we're very pro-business, we want to keep things moving along, cut red tape, all that. So they had a bad experience a number of years ago in working with the county, and that's really been changed a lot with this. So I wanted to thank you very much for your efforts on that. We've been seeing a lot of stuff come through the Planning Commission, so been a lot of activity. Along those lines, the other thing I want to mention, and Gary, this is for you, Wheeler Trucking, you probably have all read the paper. Wheeler has received approval for the legislation that the governor signed here a couple weeks ago regarding the length of their truck haulers. Now that's gone through, they are going to now begin the process of building in Hazleton Township their new corporate headquarters. So we will be working with them to organize a public forum where interested contractors can come to learn about how to potentially bid on the work. They're going to need everything, architectural, engineering, general contractor, subcontractor, all that. So we'll keep you all in the loop on when that's going to be. It'll probably be sometime in January. So. You guys did approve that rezoning as well, so you're a very important part of that process, so thank you very much.
I just like to say one thing, that building they're gonna build in Cray, that's a big building.
Yes, it'll probably be 30 to 40,000 square feet.
No, Adam Elsesser's gonna build.
Oh yeah, 15.
Yeah.
15,000.
Yeah, it's a big building. Wow.
I guess just real quick, with what Fire Chief, or Assistant Fire Chief Norberg, we need to thank Wausau Township Fire Department and everybody that was out there. Rich spent a lot of time out there that weekend. I don't know if everybody realizes what went on, but they estimate there was around a 300-gallon oil spill out there. And the EPA's been out there, they're still out there working today on cleaning that up, and it was quite a large project. So I too thank everybody that put effort into that.
Okay.